Sorry, we didn't have a sound. Let's do this again. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Barak Atah, to all the men. Yahweh Shema Alathah, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, to all my sisters. We had no sounds, and I appreciate that. With Isupk, started off 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana, where we teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that they are the lost 12 tribes of Israel. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Started off 1969 under Commanding General Yohana. If you're not under Commanding General Yohana under Isupk, you're not under the truth. Sorry about the sound there for a second, but we got it together now. Technical difficulties, I'm sorry. And my name is Officer Qadash out of South Carolina. Isupk, Lashawan Qadash class. It means holy tongue. Qadash is holy, tongue is Lashawan. Okay, and we're going to go over some of the basics here and describe them in the words so you can understand. And every week we'll have something different, and as class graduates further, we'll have more and more. Last week I stopped off on the one of the Lord's Prayer. You know, Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim. That's what we read. That's what we read last. We read it every Sabbath, Shabbat, and then we read it for the holy days, Feast of Tabernacles that we just left. So I want you to understand the difference between the Paleo Hebrew and Assyrian Hebrew. I try to illustrate the Hebrew in the red for Paleo, and in the blue for Assyrian. Okay, the red. That's just my illustration, so you can understand. So take good notes, so you can understand as we go by, as we keep doing and developing. You'll begin to understand. Okay, I know how to break down this word right here. So Khan in Hebrew, everybody knows what that means. It means yes. Okay? And if you don't, write it down in your notes. That's what it means. And then we'll break it down. We'll find out. And in your notes, I want you to grab your notes if you have notes and find out how do you spell Khan in Hebrew. We'll spell it in Paleo. Well, let's spell it in Paleo. Let's go on this side over here since it's over there. Let's spell it in Paleo. Okay? Khan. Let's spell it in Paleo, okay? So, okay. Salaki. Okay. Let's spell it in Paleo. In Hebrew, the word Khan. Now, that's Ka. And that Ka sound will look like this. Like that. We're doing it in Paleo, okay? Ka. Just like that, okay? That's Ka. We'll do it in Assyrian in a second here, but right now we're doing it in Paleo. In Paleo, we have to use connectors to make the sounds work together or independent. And they're called independent connectors or dependent connectors. That's how it's done. So that's Ka. Okay? Right there. Got it right there already. So that would be like Ka. Okay? That's what it means.
You didn't fix the sound?
Yes, sir. Come. And Khan, Ka. And that's, it's one of our characters that we have in Hebrew. And of course, you use a simple word like Khan. It means yes. And we need to know these as brothers and sisters, of course. And then you want to say Ka, and then simply because you want to join this in onto it, we have like this. Na, that is an N in Hebrew. And it looks like Na, N-A. Okay? And that's very simple. Now, this is so simple. Ka, Na. Ka, Na. Just that simple. Now, how do we join this together? We want to, you don't just say Ka, Na. Because if you did that, it would look like this. Ka, Na. Those will be independent sounds like that. And that's where we use the connectors, but that is not how this is done. I just did this for illustration. It's not kana, la'a. That would be wrong. Okay? We want to put it all together, and we want to say con. We want to make a dependent connector. We want to make this entire word, in this case, the ka and the na, to depend on each other. That is a dependent connector. So I'll write that out right here. Dependent. Well, let's put it over here so I can write another word over here. Dependent. Dependent. Connector. Okay? Now, so there, there you go. Right there. Dependent connector. Okay? We guys want you to always report to class so you can learn. So you can put your name in, and I'll put your name down and tell the officers so the brothers and sisters in class, young men turn into troopers. Troopers get their name, and our sisters get your names too. Okay. All right. That's so you make sure you put your attendance in class. So, con, that is a dependent connector. Now we're going to do another word. We're going to say, let's do la'a. La-a. La'a in Hebrew means no. Okay? The basic words, just la'a. Okay? It means la'a. And so let's figure out how to break that down in Hebrew. And that's the reason why I'm doing this, so you'll understand. If you understand the basic words, hey, the bigger word's going to come. Nafzaga Bar, Lord in Christ, officer. Glad to have a brother in class. Barak Gabar said there's no sound. Thank you, sister. I believe that's right. Officer Nafzaga Bar, officer of 1,000. He belongs here at Isupk under Commander General Hana. And la'a. Okay, this helps you understand how to enunciate Hebrew. That's what these connectors are all about. La'a. So let's break it down. La. Let's break it down to Paleo. Then I'll go back maybe in Assyrian to do it, because I don't know if I have all night. Not important. Let's we got La. That's the La. Put it up here. No. Okay, La. Just like that. That was a simple, because the La, the L looks like that. La. Then you have Ah. Well, it's like, let me get something to really. Okay, erase. There you go. Let's use red like we were talking about. When you see this La, that character, we're talking Paleo. Okay? And then we have Ah. Ah, just like that. There's the Ah right there. Okay? And you got to use your symbols, you know. La Ah. And this is your Ah. Like that. So, now, La Ah. La Ah, we don't want to do La and then Ah. Unless you got a southern drawl, just join it together. La Ah. La Ah. You know, it's just one sound. That's what you want to get used to, one sound. You can sit there and break it down into independent connectors if you want to. La, wait a few minutes, and then say Ah. That ain't how we do that. La, Ah. No, it's La, Ah. Just one sound. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure you hear one sound, because people will get used to trying to do that. So, we understand that La, Ah and Khan, you know, that's yes. Okay? So we learned dependent and independent connectors. Like, let's put the A back over here. Like this. Trying to go basic tonight so people understand, and I'll get to something a little harder. Okay? Let's use a word like believe. Believe. let's use the word, let's graduate. Let's use, we'll get even more technical. We're going on vocabulary night. B-L-I, make sure I can spell it correctly. B-I-L-A, yeah, I-E-V-E. Believe, everybody know what that means. It's when you believe something, you know. And, right. I believe that's spelled, I believe the word for that is ha. Let me only use the right colors here because I want people to understand. See how that word's spelled. I think it's ha, ma, yeah. Let's believe, okay? This is part of our vocabulary. Amayan, amayan. I'm sorry, apologize. It's amayan, so that means you need two A's in here. It's a lot, okay? Amayan. Okay, let's break this down here. Like I said, this is just the characters up here. We have like I said, I believe it's 22, that's right. Okay, it's 22 characters in Hebrew. Okay? And like I said, there's two vowel sounds, the ah and the I. It's pretty much all you're going to hear. Everything else, those are the vowels. You'll hear consonants, but that's what this is. Ah, and it's just that simple. It's taking one of those characters and making a word out of it. And you can look up the vocabulary, but at least, if you don't know the word of it, at least know how it sounds. That's very important in Hebrew, how it sounds. Because if you know how it sounds, you can pronounce it. You may not even know what the word is, but at least you'll go back and look it up and say, oh, okay. Amiyan. And the next one we're going to do is lakam. I think that's bread. We'll do that one second here. So let's do ha, like this. See if we got it big enough there. Okay. Ha. And then we're going to use ah. We got this much of it, ha, then we got an ah in there. Even though the H is not there, you have to pronounce it just as though it had the ah, the full ah. Hear that H on the end, ah. Hear the H there, ah, ah. You know, that's us. So you have to have it just as though it had that H right there. And that A, it has to be treated just like a full A sound. Ha, ah. Okay, let's do ma. Ma looks like that. Say ma is like that. Ma, this is a ah. That's a ha. Just like that. Those are the characters. Those are characters in Hebrew. I think I'm gonna connect them like that. It's up to you to learn these characters. I can't by osmosis put them inside of you. You have to learn these. Once you learn them, then we can learn words. Then we can learn sentences. It's just that simple. And I'm taking my time and going over this last week and this week. So when we move on, you'll begin to understand. Oh, okay, that's what we're doing. When we do things like the Lord's Prayer, say, how complicated it is. It's not that complicated. It's really actually simple. And that's what we're showing you right now. So, mayan. Ma, we got that. Then we're going to use yan, the ya, like that. Now this is Paleo Hebrew. I'll put the Assyrian right up under it in blue so you'll understand it in a second here. But the Paleo is the mother language. The mother of us all is the Hebrew. Okay? Ya. So let's put the ya right there. That is the character. These are the characters of what you would call the alphabet, but actually they are the character, sounds, okay? Hama, and then we're gonna put yan. Okay, like that. Now, we gotta use some connectors. And since we gotta use connectors to make this right, because if you didn't have this, you'll have ha-a-ma-ya-na. Ha-a-ma-a-ya-nan. We wouldn't know how to pronounce it. So let's make it pronounced the way, or enunciate the way we want. Have Adrian in class also. Let's make it sound. We've got Adrian over here. Also, of course, we had Bar, and then we have Isupk Bar. Okay. Try to write them down. Okay. Have Adrian, she's always dependable, she's always in class right here. So ha-a-ma-yan. Now why am I doing this? Okay, this is the na. So you'll get used to learning your Hebrew characters. If you don't know your characters, there's no way. There's 22 characters. 22 characters. Characters. Like that. Characters. There's no way. Well, I'm trying to write neat here. 22. There's no way you can understand the Hebrew language unless you know the basic characters. You got to know the characters. Well, that's what we learn here. We're going over some characters right here. Look at that. Ha-a-ma-yan. Ha-a-ma-yan. Okay, let's break this down. Let's make it sound like that because it certainly don't look like it. But we're going to make it. Ha, independent sound by itself. Remember, you got to use that upside down U to have an independent sound. Independent. Sorry, lock it. Independent. Independent. Done. Okay. All right. Then, so let's break it down. Ha, ah. Another independent sound. Okay? It's important to know that. Ha-ah. Ma. It's another independent sound. Because that's how it's explained and pronounced. Ha-ah-ma. Ha-ah-ma. There it is right there. Let me see. Let's see if I can put that in blue so you can see it a little bit. The ha. Like that. Then ah. Then you have ma. Okay, we got that much of the word. There it is right here. So they're independent sounds. That's how you have to make them sound. Ha, ah, ma. Now the last thing we want to do, look at this. This is a ya. See that ya right there? That ya and that in sound has to be joined together or you will not understand the word. So let's put it together. Let's say yan. So let's make it a dependent connector. Like there. Okay? Ha-a-ma-yan-na. Now we just joined the ya and the n together. Now that word makes sense there. Ha-a-ma-yan. Okay, now let's do this in Paleo. I'm sorry, let's do this in Assyrian. Let's do this in Assyrian. Assyrian doesn't have connectors, but for the sake of illustration, it has an ending character. So let's write that on the board. So we have independent. Paleo has independent and dependent connectors. Now, if this seems mundane to you, just follow with me. Dependent. Independent, yeah. Dependent, okay. So we're going to use dependent to make them join together, a U. An upside down U will be independent, just like that. Okay? Like that. It's important. Now let's do some Paleo here. And if you have any questions in the chat, just let me know. We'll go over it. Let's ha. How do we do ha in Assyrian. You know, that's the next thing, because it's easy to translate because you have the paleo. The paleo is the exact. So the Assyrian, when they put us in slavery, they forgot about their sounds. They didn't say, well, how do I connect them? They don't know. That's the whole point. That's the whole object of the point. That's why paleo is the oldest. That's why it is the purest language there. So we're going to use Assyrian to show you what we had in captivity. So let's go. Let's say ha. The ha sound looks like this. Ha. Like that. Had a lot of space in there. Okay? Ha. Get that away from there. Trying to leave some room here for it. Follow along with me in the chat. If you have any questions, follow on. If you don't have the question, then I'm assuming you already know. It's ha. That is a ha. This character and that character carry the same weight of sound. They just simply say ha. Okay? Ah. Well, like this. Okay? Like that. Like this right here. See that right there? That's the A. And that's what this is. Ah. Same thing. That's the same ah. This is the ha. Well, why do we need to know that? So you'll understand that all these are a sound. There are acronyms to help you learn these, but the best way to do it, like a cone, a sideways A. There's an M there. There's a little kickstand with a Z there. There's an N there. I mean, you can go on and there's an N right here. Upside down with a curl. I mean, there's so many ways to learn it, but you're going to have sister, oh good, Tama. All right. Tama. Just going over some stuff to let you guys know that the way to understand when we're breaking these words down, why these connectors work the way they do. Because once you learn that, you will begin to understand words. You'll begin to make words for you, especially when I go possessive adjectives and what else? We have possessive adjectives and the prepositions. There you go. Once we do that, Sister Thelma checking in from, where are you checking in from, sister? I think it's Ohio, I believe. Always put where you're from there also, sister. I think it's Ohio. And then you got Ma. So let's find out Ma. Let's find out what it looks like. It looks like this in Assyrian. Just like that. That is another character found in Hebrew. It's one of the 22 characters. So let's put Ma there. Now you don't have to put any connectors because that's one of the fallacies in the Assyrian language. You don't have any connectors. So, you got to depend on the paleo, which that's why it's a pure sound. The Most High knows what he's doing. That's the whole point. Okay? All right? Now, let's go, so we join these two together, of course. Now, we're doing a whole nother language. We're doing a whole nother, not language, but a whole nother identity. I'm going to put a line across here so you can understand the two. This is Assyrian right here. To make sure you guys don't understand. Assyrian, okay? All right? Assyrian, I guess you spell it like this. Something like that. And of course, paleo. And the paleo, it has the independent and dependent connectors. Paleo. You can't miss it. Because as I go on in class, we'll get harder. The video's frozen. It's freezing. How about that? How about now? Is it freezing now? Sister Thalma? Let's see if it's freezing a little bit. Is it still freezing? Let me know. Okay. Ma. And we got, Sister Thalma, is it still freezing? Let me know. Is anybody else having a problem with this? Just let me know. Adrian, Nazagabra, Officer Paragabra. If y'all have, if the video is freezing, say Khan, or if it's not, just say La. It's good to go on. So I don't know. You got a ya sound up here. Look like a little bird. That is a ya. Okay. All right. Is it still freezing? Okay. Maybe I had the video a little bit too close. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Then, but in the Assyrian, something happens different over here with this na. Because it's an N, and there are 5 ending character sounds. And I normally use the green marker to indicate that. So the N will look like this. Sort of like this. Sort of like that. Okay? Is the video still freezing? Not sure. And this is an ending. And that's the ending na. Okay? Okay. Know if it's still freezing or not. Well, let's find out. Okay. Let's see here. Make sure. Okay. How's that for adjustment there? Okay. If it's still freezing, just let me know. Like that. Okay. Baralaba, that's Banya. Baralaba. Okay. Baralaba. From, doesn't tell me where she's from. Shalom, sister. Okay. And that word right there, we took this word and we found out the paleo in it and the Syrian. I did that for illustrations so they'll understand how to make these connectors happen. Because people, if you have problems with understanding the Hebrew characters, you know, you have to memorize all 22 characters. Write them down. If you don't want to memorize, at least have them on a piece of paper. So when you see this, you'll know that that's ha, ma, ya, na. Hamayan, Hamayan, Ha'amayan means to believe. Do you believe? Ha'amayan. And you say, Khan, I believe. You'll say, Khan, Hamayan. I mean, yes, I believe. That's what it literally translates. So that's for, you have to take your time and break it down. I like to break words down in the paleo so it's easy to translate into the Syrian. So I just bring the characters down really, because they have connectors here. In the Tanakh, it's easy to read. That's how I read. I've learned both of these by heart. And you have to learn both of those by heart too if you really, really, really want to understand the language, okay? But let me know if anything is still freezing, sister. All right, so let's get rid of this. Let's understand here. Let's go to another word here so you'll understand. We're breaking down some vocabulary real quick here before we move on to something else. I just want you guys to understand the basics of all what we're doing. We'll put down a word like this, like if you do like this. That is a piece of bread, or this is like a loaf of bread, you know, like that. That's like a loaf of bread. And then bread in Hebrew is la come. Now, okay, it's la come. All right, let's break it down. If you see in Hebrew, if you see some familiar words here, some familiar characters. You see ka. Ka in Hebrew, ka looks like this. Ka. That's one of the characters. That's your responsibility to learn these characters. I mean, I could teach you all night, but you're gonna have to. I can't put them inside you, so you're gonna have to learn them. But this is bread in Hebrew. This is a loaf of bread, or I just say bread. Okay, in Hebrew, like this. That's bread, like a loaf of bread, lakam. So let's spell it. Let's spell how it's expected in Hebrew. La, come. Okay. In Paleo. If you guys can understand, if it's not freezing, type a con. You're good. If everything's good, say con. Type con in there before I go on. I want to make sure you guys, so I don't have to do any adjustments. Put con. Type a con in the chat. So I know everything's okay. Before I go on, I want to make sure everything's all right. I think one of the sisters had problems with understanding the she said it was freezing, so I want to make sure it's not freezing anymore. Con. Okay, so we're good. Baralabah says good. We're good. Good. Sister Thamma, good. Everybody's good. Okay. The water, Sister Thamma, Sister Barakalabah. Okay? So let's do this. Lakam. This is just bread. It's what it is. Bread. You know, pretty easy words. But, you know, we find words in here like ka. We find words in there like ma. Like ma. Okay? We find words in there like la. It's out of order here. I'm just kind of so you guys understand. And when you type your when you do your words and understanding, you'll understand. Lakam. So it's la, just like that. Of course, we're going to put some connections. We're going to let you guys do this in a second. So get your thinking caps on. We're going to let you put the connectors for me. La. Then we're going to have to use ka. Looks like a ladder. The la. You know, we'll put LA up there, then we put ka right here, right there. Looks like a ladder. Oh, we need another one. Just like that. Okay? And then we have ma, like this. Just like that. Well, it don't mean it is small. It's about like that. So like that. Okay? And that's ma. Okay? All right, starting to focus. Sometimes it goes in and out of focus there. La, come. That's the word lakam. That's what it is. Means bread. Okay. Now let's put some connectors on it. Everybody out in the audience, I want you to tell me what connectors would you use here and here. Here, here, and here. Tell me. I'll tell you. I'll give you. There are two connectors here. What connectors do we put over the L, the Ka, and the M? And just tell me, what's first and what's second there. Independent, and we'll use, for class, I always use like this. Always do this. Always try to say, independent, dependent is 1, independent is 2. So, what do we use here for the L? Let's start there first. And what do we use for the Ka and the Ma? Or, is it like this? Is it like this? Or is it like this? Or is it like this? I mean, you tell me. You tell me. For the L, let's start off with the L by itself. Is that independent or dependent? Type a 1 in the chat or a 2 in the chat. Type a 1 in the chat or a 2 in the chat if for the L. We're just talking about what independent or dependent connector do we use for the L and the Ka and here? Do we join it to the Ka or do we join, you tell me. And let me see if I can break it down further. Tell me if this is right. Just let's do it this way. Is that right? Say yes or no. We'll do it that way. We'll make it a little better. Let me know. Is that independent or dependent? Is that dependent connector correct? Say yes or no. Kan or la'a. For the new students, kan means yes, no means la'a. Independent. Barak Lava says la'a. Okay, good. So she's saying that that's wrong. So if it's not she's saying the la is independent. It's got an independent sound. So let's do that. Let's make that independent. Okay. Let's go with the and this is how you learn by basic words, bread, some things like that. This is how you learn. Once you begin to understand these small words, the bigger words that we put on the board become a lot easier. Easier for me too, because I have to do the same study as you do. What do we do here? Is this right? Let me know, is this right? Just let me know. Is that yes or no? For the ka and the ma, let me know. Is that right? Ka and ma, are they independently sound? It's either yes or no. Adrian, Thama, Baralaba, Barakaba, Natazagabar officer. Which one? Is this right? Are these independent connectors right? Because this is how we learn. If the officers, if you want to participate, you can. You don't have to. Give the other students a chance there. I understand that. Give us. So the ka and the ma, they're independent connectors, just right? Yes or no? It's either la'a or kan. Yes or no? Do I have this right? Give you a few seconds here. Okay. Baralaba Banaf says la'a is lakam. La'a. Okay? So, she's saying, right. Let's do this. It's la by itself, independent, and then we say come all together, just like that. I mean, it's simple. It can. Nazagbar says la. He's right, exactly right. La, it wouldn't be, and he's right. Both of you guys are right. It wouldn't be la. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be kama. It would be come, joined together. So if you said no, you're exactly right. It is, you join them together with a dependent connector. A dependent connector. But your sister, you got Salaki the first. La is the connector the other way. Oops. Exactly. That's called a heads up error, sister. You're right. It's la. It's upside down. That's my mistake. That's on me right there. I know it. I just wrote it down incorrectly there. So independent, it's like that. When you depend, you join them together, just like that. And the way to do it, if you see the upside down U, you can tell that you're joining something together. It's la come, okay? That means bread, all right? So good. I'm glad you guys learned that. That's good. That's good, great understanding of that. Okay? So that's the basics of, without going over the characters all together, let's just do some basics. I mean, we'll give a couple more words and I'll move on to the number system, because once you get this, because next week we're going to get a little bit more technical. We're going to take the plane off the ground a little bit, and we're going to just cruise and get into some real heavy Hebrew, okay? Some Paleo and Assyrian. Right now we're just kind of doing something, an exercise for water, sir. Yes, absolutely, sister. So you'll understand a little better. We'll do maybe one word, maybe two words, I don't know. Let's do a word called, so when we're saying bless, let's do a word that you may not know, that some people may not know. Let's use a word called, okay guys, y'all just, y'all sit down, you'll be quiet, okay? All right, okay? All right. Have our little children in class here, our troopers, future troopers here. We want to use a word called behold. Guys, you're welcome to write these in your book, okay? For your understanding. Behold, ana, and that word in Hebrew is translated ha na. Okay? All right? So, behold, I should have written down the Syrian for lakam, and I think I will right now. Let's write it down real quick here before I get to that one. Lakam. It has something special going on here, and I forgot to do that. We'll do that right now. Guys, let's be quiet, okay? All right? All right? So let's go ahead and do it in the Syrian. The la. That's la. Look like some sort of fancy 3. That's the la. Okay? And then the ka, it's like this. Sort of looks like a ha. All right? That's, all right? If something goes on special on lakam or bread, which that means, something goes on special with the M. We have Dina McCall. Okay, Dina. Very good. Have Dina McCall checking in. Very good. From Savannah. All right. But something goes on special here with this M. That M. If anybody remember, tell me. If you're doing Assyrian and you see an M there, what goes on special with that M? What must I do? I'll give you a hint. I'll put it in green because that's what I always do with it. What do I do with this M or that ma? What is that called in Hebrew? What is that? And the M, is it independent connected? No, we don't have that. That's paleo. In the Syrian, what is that called? What do we do with this M? That something special has to happen in the Assyrian language to make that official. Okay? Because in Hebrew, we have an M. It could look like this. It could look like that. But that would be wrong. I mean, it's an M, but why is that not true in the Assyrian case here? Anybody know, sisters? Okay, and that's what we're going to learn. That M, when you say lakam, which means bread, what do I have to do with that M? Does anybody know? On chat, we'll give you a chance here. We'll give a few. What's special going on there? See if you guys pay attention. The only way you can learn Hebrew is to participate. We know that paleo has independent and dependent connectors. Okay? But the Assyrian has something, it doesn't have any connectors. Nabzagabar said the ending, exactly right. See the officer, he coming there taking it away from y'all. Officer Nabzagabar found it. He knows what I'm going to do with this. It looks like this. That's an M. You have to, in the Hebrew, in Assyrian, of course, an M looks like that. But that is not what you use when it's at the end. He's writing the ending. It's called an ending character. He's 100% right. Give that officer a hand. All right. It's independent. Barala Ba, she has it. Independent. Not a connector, sister. It's called a character. I don't want to. I mean, you're right with independent. That's if you decide independent. That's fine. You're right anyway. But to make it technical, it's not called a connector. It's called a character. Remember that 22 characters? So that is an ending character. Okay, sis? All right. So Nazagabar and Baralaba, you got that right. And I'm pretty sure everybody else didn't know that. I know Sister Thalma and Adrian. I know you all know that. The water, exactly. I know you all know that anyway. That's the only way to do it is just to keep doing it over and over again. And I illustrate this in green. I use red for paleo, blue for Assyrian, and ending connectors, ending characters, I'm sorry. I use green, okay? And of course you have connectors over there. We'll do one more word, then we'll move on to maybe, let's try some numbers here. So we'll learn how to count a little bit in Hebrew, all right? Let's do behold, hana. Can you see where? Sorry. Okay. Behold, hana. That's what behold translate in Hebrew. It says hana. Okay? Abba Korah, that officer 500, South Carolina, Abba. He's in class right now. Shalom, brother. Hana. So let's break this down. Ha-na. So I'm giving it away when I tell you, when I sound it, that helps you with your independent and dependent connectors. Hana. Okay? So we go paleo, it's like this. Ha, looks like a woman's comb or a man's comb or just, ha. That's ha, okay? Then we have na, all right? That's the na, right there. Then we have ha. We have a ha. So there it is again. I'm giving it away. Let's break this down, guys. Hana. Give me some connectors. What do I do with ha right here? This is a na, and that's a ha. Okay? Okay? Yeah, that's right. Okay. What connector does this get? Tell me the connector system going on here. Ha, does that get this? Or do we join it to that one? Han, ah? Is it han, ah? Tell me if that's right or not. Let me put a scenario here, and then you'll get it. Is this correct here? Han, ah. Tell me, la ah or yes. What is that? Han, ah. Let's say la ah or kan. La'as. Sharabana. Banath. Say la'ah. Okay, good. So, if that is not, if the first one is not a dependent connector, because that's what I had, if this is not right, then surely by default, since there's only two, then the ha must be on its own. That's just process of elimination. That's just plain old logic. Ha. Right there. La, independent. Exactly. Ha. Then that, what does that leave me? Do I do this? Naha? Hanaha. Can I say hanaha? Because that's what I got right here. Ha, na, ha. All independent sounds. Is that right? Right? Yes or no? Or kan, or la. I mean, I'm giving it away when I say ha and na. Ha, na. So is this right? She says, but all of our independent. Is this scenario correct? Right? Yes or no? You say no, sis? Okay. So what's your name again? Sister Shara said la. She's right. She's exactly right. And Bara, okay, Sister Shara said, and she's correct. She's sitting right here in our ISUBK headquarters here. You go, it's like this. So let's join these two together. By default, it has to be joined together. But that makes sense, because you want to take this. You want to say ha, independent. Then you want to say na, ha. You want to make all this sound the same, one sound. That's why it's there. Because if I put this, what happens if I put an A on the end? It would be ha, na, ha. But that's not what that says. It's just ha, na. You have to go by what the word, how it's spelled. So this correct. This, then I'm called per law, you're right, sis. That's exactly right. Dependent. She's exactly right. Okay? We're going to give these sisters a hand. That's very good. They got it right. That's how I know you're learning. When you participate, that's how I know. Behold, Hana. Okay? Good. Now let's move on to something else. Now, that's basic, and we'll go over this some other time. That's basic. It's basic to understand the Hebrew characters, the Hebrew independent and dependent connectors in Paleo, the Hebrew ending characters in Assyrian. Those are illustrations of it, instead of me just putting a mundane writing things down. Abba gada hawa zaka. Okay, manasa abataza kwawashata. And see, I remember it because we did it so many times, so many lesson studies. And that's how you do it. So let's move on to the number system. This is what this is. You got a number system going on here. And what does that mean? The numbers. In Hebrew. Hebrew has numbers also. Okay? Let's go to the number system. The first number. Let's go to this one. The first number. 2, 3, 4, 5. Up. Ah. Ah. right there. Akkad. You guys, and you should be taking notes and all of this. The first number in the Hebrew language is akkad. Okay? Akkad. That's number one. Number two. All right? We have shanya. Shan. Ya. Okay? Write these down in your notes if you don't know. The first one is akkad. That's one. So if you want to say I need one horse, akkad, man. Yeah. If I want, shanya, two. Three. What is three? Shalash. Let's do the different color. I know people learn when you see things, they pop out better for you. Some people don't. That's how I look at it. Shalash. Okay? Shalash. Shalash. Akkad. Shalash. Akkad. Shanya. Shalash. Shalash. Okay? Four. Revive. 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 Now, if you notice right here. See that sound right there? Look at that. Ka and D by itself. So, if you want to translate that, let's say in Paleo, let's say we say like that, because that's what the sounds look like. Then we say ka, like that. Ka, then you want to say a D with a D sound. It'll look like, I believe it's like this, isn't it? Ooh. Sorry, getting into the Syrian over there. There we go. Like that. Akkad. Akkad. Okay? Now I hear one sound on the whole name. So, akkad. I like to, akkad. I like to say that. You can say akkad. But I hear that one sound. Some people like to do and then kad. I don't fight over either one of them. But I like to do this. We're not trying to force connectors with somebody just for the sake of fancy. We're just trying to make, how does it sound? Akkad. Akkad. One sound. Akkad. So, let's do it this way. Akkad. The reason why I'm doing it that way is because the ka and the da has to be connected. They ain't got no choice. You don't connect them, you ain't got a word. That's gotta be, because that's what the D is there for. That da right there is there. Da. Kad. So if that is the case, if this is connected together, then we can afford to do this way. Akkad. But I hear one sound, akkad. So let's just say akkad. It's a little different between la. You don't go around saying akkad. So you actually can do this, akkad. But I'm just saying you have to connect these two. That's the reason why we do that. Anyway, so enough on akkad there. Shanya. Let's do shanya. Sha. What am I trying to do here? Oh, that's right. Forgot what I'm doing. Shanya. Sha. Tell you what. Let's move this up a little bit so we can see it. Let's move it up a little bit. All right. There we go. Ka. Like that. Akkad. And the only reason why is because we got to join this card together, so let's just go ahead and make that one independent. Right there. Akkad. Okay?
I think I can do it.
Okay? Then we're gonna see, let's do shanya. Shanya. Because we want it to be one sound. So we say shan, that's sha. Oh, I've been promising to make all these in red, so I won't confuse you in paleo. So let's do that, okay? Mine too. Dina, my phone is frozen. Your phone is frozen. Why? Is anybody else frozen out there? Looking at this transmission? Am I moving around too much and making it? I don't know why it's freezing here. It's frozen. Is it good? Okay. Sister in school here says it's good, and sometimes it will get frozen. You know, if I move too fast, or it may be your phone, it may be my transmission. But I'm trying to slow down just a little bit. Okay. All right. Shanya. Sha. Okay, that takes care of the sha right there. And the na, we have a sound that looks like that. Looks like a Y, almost like a. But really, to keep that from looking like a Y, I was always told by one of the officers here to do like that.
Before you start pushing.
Okay, and then we use ya.
Yeah, start drilling before you start pushing.
Okay. All right. So what do we do here? Okay. What connections do we use, guys? It's unfrozen. Very good. Okay. Ashan, Officer Ashan. I'm sorry, not officer, but trooper. Sean's in class. Okay. Okay. All right. Glad to have you, trooper, from Bennettsville. All right. Sha. Shanya. How do we do this? What do we join together? Shanya. Anybody know? We on the W. Is this correct right here? Would this be correct if I did this? Yay or nay? Yes or no? Yeah. Dependent. Shara Bana, she says dependent, and she's right. Khan, exactly. Shan, that's the Sha and the Na, you join them together because they're dependent connectors. You know, that's what it's called. Remember, in paleo, you have connectors. You connect them together. So that leaves by default Ya by itself. It has to be an independent connector, and that's the upside down U. That's how you do it. And just use a little understanding with the Hebrew and the paleo. That's why it's good. Adrian Khan, she said Khan, that's exactly right. So Adrian, Shara, got it right, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people got it right in class. You know, that's the main thing, is that you guys are beginning to understand this a little better now. Shanya, that's the number 2. Let's go with Shalash. Sha. Let's go with Sha. Okay. Sha. La. And then we're going to go the Sha sound. There it is again. So what do we do? Let me break this word down. Let me mess it up for you so you'll understand it. Shalash. All right. Let's figure this one out. Shalash. Okay, I'm gonna mess it up for you so you can understand it. Is that right? Yes or no? Sharabana, she said Khan. Dependent connectors, okay. Well, let's other people right. Sharabana, she's on it tonight, I'm telling you. Is this right or wrong? Did I do this right? Shalash. Shalash. Unless you want to say shalash or shalash. Which one? Adrian said Khan. All right, we'll give you 10 more seconds, guys. We got some more brave souls. Which one is it? Shalash. We're working on the number system. We're going to break it down to you so you can understand what they mean and how they're spelled, because this is going to help you when you start to look at words and how to pronounce them. Baralaba. Wait a minute, okay? She said Khan, Sharon, Barak. Shara. Got so many students, can't keep up with it. That's what I like. Dana said Khan, that's exactly right. That's how I know you guys are right. All right, everybody in class got that right. So I know that you understand. You're beginning to understand the Hebrew system. Let's break this down. Let's do might as well go do Arabah. Let's see. Kamash. We'll go ahead and do Kamash too. Kamash. Okay? Just break it down how it sounds. Ra, Ba. That's really how it's done. So let's do Arabah. Let's do Ra. Oh, right in the wrong again. Let's do it in red, like I promised, so you'll understand we're doing it in paleo. We're in paleo now, guys. That's what this is, the paleo. Ra. Okay. Ba. And I believe that's right. Spell that right? Ba. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. Rabbi. Rabbi. It's that simple. Is that correct? Sometimes I throw a wrench in there. Arabah. Arabai. It means four in Hebrew. Arabah. Is this correct? Type in there. Khan or La. Those are the first words we learned tonight. Arabai. Khan. All right. So far, so good. The brave souls up front. Arabai. We'll work on the unfrozen next week here because I don't know what I did wrong there. Okay, Arabai. Is this correct? Khan or La'a? Arabai. Is that wrong or Arab I? Which one is it? Just type in the chat. We'll give you 10 more seconds there, a few more seconds to write it. Arabai. It's a number system, Hebrew number system. Arabai. Baralaba. Rabai. She said La'a. Rabai. Think it over, sis. Is it that? All right, it's actually correct. Rabai. You Arabai. Rabai. You have to join the B and I together. Ba. That has to be connected together. By. That's why we did it this way. See? And when you do that, you know it's not Arabai, it's Arabai. It's not, it's, she say, didn't McCall say yes? One, and then Ra. Arab I? No. It's not Arab I. It's not Arab I. It's Arabai. Arabai. It's not Arab and then I. Arabai. No. Sound like a rabbit. Sound like a rabbi. It's Arabai, sis. Okay? Okay? It's Arabai. It's just like this. So I mean, and that's good. That's just let me know that you're paying attention. But you're close. You're very close. It's actually independent sound. Ra. By, because if you didn't, you'd have a rabbi. A rabbi. Nah. But it's a, ra, then you have to join the B and I together. By. So I did it right together to give myself hand clap. I can't, let another man praise you, the Bible says, so we'll do it that way. Kamash, we'll do the last one here. Let's do the last one, Kamash. Well, not last one, but before we get on the column there. Kamash, let's get this one right. Let's get this one correct. Kamash. All right, let's work on this one. All hands on deck. Ka. Ka, there it is. Let's break it down. Ka, then we're going to say ma, then we're going to say sha. That's how we do this. Let's see here. All right, I see what's done to it. See, I used to do it backwards. If you take the characters that has to be joined together, that's the biggest key. If you see M-A-S, that's mosh. There it is right here, mosh. So join it together. That eliminates that right away, right, sis? What's left? So that's independent, right? Then that's how you do it. That's the way I do it. I hope everybody on deck understands. I join together what has to be joined together. The ma and the sha has to be, because if you didn't, the sha over there is really an A there, but the A is invisible. It's invisible. I'll dot it like that. That's invisible. But it says sha. Well, you can't just leave it by itself. It has a sound. Well, if you put it with the ma and the sha, it's mosh. So I did it backwards. I said, that's just sort of like cheating for me. I say, mosh. Oh, well, what's left? Ka. That's the way to spell it. That's the way it sounds. Ka mosh. That's how I do it. Okay? Let's do this in, when do they do that in Syrian? Let's finish with the rest of them here before class is over anyway. Okay? Yeah, we did the first 5, okay, I'm gonna erase them. Hope you guys wrote that down, because I'm moving here. Let's do 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll stick 11 in there for good measures. Okay? See if you guys remember. All right. 6 is shasha. Sha. Sha. Did I get that right? Yeah, shasha. Okay. Now that one's easy. I know if I do it this way, sha, sha, sha. Just 2 little W looking things, because that's what those are. That's sha, and that's a sha. Okay? So, sha, sha, just like that. No harm, no foul, okay? Let's do Shabbat. Sha for 7. Shabbat. Let's break this one down real quick. Okay? And I got another one here that's really, really a long word here. So let's break this one down. Tell you what I will do though. I'll give you some more space in here. 7. Sha. By. Okay. Sha. Okay. Ba. I. And of course, we'll do the Syrian on this one, some of these. We'll do like this. like that. Sha, and we'll go, I think it's like this. Oh, how you doing? Oops.
I'm sure, as you push these things up, you should be able to see up there on that, top of that part, that white part.
Like that. And then we go like this. Like that, okay? That's the Syrian in blue, Paleos in red. Okay, Shabbai, 7. It means 7. That's what it means. So let's do the connectors on it. It's important to understand it, or if you know how to pronounce that word. The reason why we do this is because if you didn't pronounce this right, you can be pronouncing another word, another sound. Shabbai, not Shab-I or Shab-I. It's Shabbai. That's the correct way to pronounce it. So let's say Shah. Or we can do it, let's do it the way I like to do it. What would you do? What's the obvious? Which one of those are joined together? Anybody?
By.
That's right. That's your sister's exactly right. You put the B and I together. What's left? By elimination, that has to be independent connected. That's how I do it. Join what's together already. Join what has to be joined together. The by. If you didn't join it together, you wouldn't have a word. By. That has to be a dependent connector. Sha. So when you say Shabbai, you ain't got to think about it. Just join what has to be joined together. The B and I got to be joined together. You can't put Shab and then I. The B and I has to be joined together because in this B over here, that's actually an invisible A. Ba, dying to connect with this I over here. Sisters brought it out. By. Well, by elimination, the Shah is left. It can't get a, what is it going to join to? It can't join to nothing with a dependent connector, so it's got to be independent. That's what's left, and that's how, miraculously, that's how it's done. Shah, by. Means 7 in Hebrew. Okay? Shamonah. Oh, there's a hard one here. 8. Shah, ma, Shama. Got to get a spelling on some stuff. Shama, na. Oh, Lord. Shama, na. Let me look at my notes. I understand. Shamana. I want to spell a different word here. Let me get the spelling on this word so you'll have it right. Spell this word. Shamawana. I think that's what it is. Well, let me get the exact spelling on that word here. All right, yeah. Let's see. Shamawana. Shamawana. Shama. Wa na. All right, here it is. There it is, right there. That was right. Shama wa na. Okay, I got it. Just didn't want to embarrass myself. Shama wa na. Okay? All right, let's break it down. Long word. All it means is 8 in Hebrew, okay? Let's break this down a little bit. Shah. In paleo. Shah. Okay? There it is, right there. What has to be joined together here? Let's see. Ma, wa, na. Well, you know na's got to be joined together because there's an H there. That's got an independent, has a H that's dying to be joined with this N. So that's na. So we'll connect that one. Wa and ma. Ma, wa, shama, wa, na. So it sounds like it's going to be sha. It's going to be ma. Like that. Independent, independent. There's going to be wa. Yeah, is that right? Yeah. Shama, wa. There we go. And then we're going to have like this. Like that. That's how I do it. The first thing I did was identify what has to be joined together. Okay, na. So I identified that. Let's figure out what's left over. Sha, ma, wa. Oh, there it is. Sha, ma, wa. Independent, independent. That made a big, long word right there, 8. So easy. Of course, for a while there, it was hard to spell for me. I forgot it. Shamona. But there it is. That's why I take good notes. Okay? Sha-ma. Sha-ma-wa. And join the na and the ha together. You got Shama-wa-na. Just that easy. See how much more time we got left in class here. Hey, twins, so we got time for a little bit more here, especially. Let's do, let's erase this and do, 8? Let's do 9 and 10 here real easily. And then we go to, how do we do 11? So let's say 9, and we'll say 10. I'm going to put 11, and I'm going to put 12 there. We've got room. What's 9? Okay? Araba? Tasha, I'm sorry. Well, it's not done these. Tha, shy. There it is. Okay? Tha, just like this. Tha, like this. Tha, like that. Looks like a laid down cross. There it is, sitting by itself. But if you really want to break that down, the first thing that's got to be joined together is the shy. Give you guys some understanding here. Shy. Why? Because you have an H over here that really has an A. This sha looks like this. The sha actually looks like this. And it's spelled S-H-A. Okay? Well, do you see S-H-A up there? You just see S-H. Then you know the character next to it has to be joined with it. That's a signal that it has to be joined with it. You heard it from here? Gave some understanding. So let's put that understanding right there. That's what the character looks like. I. So let's join it together. What's left? Tha. Now you broke it down. It's just that easy. Sometimes you have to do it that way. For shy. Let's do that in Assyrian. Tha, like this. Tha. See if I got room here. Yeah, we got a little room. Tha shy. I ain't too careful about how I do the Syrian because it's a raggedy language anyway. We use the mother language, and that's Paleo, the Syrian that we use in captivity, but that's how you spell it, the shy. Sort of like do this right. Looks like that, okay? That's how it looks in Assyrian, okay? Now let's do the last one. Asherah. Let's get it spelled right. Asherah. Asherah. Just like that. Okay? Asherah. It's 10. If you pay attention to Asherah, these first 10 numbers have the basic meaning of the entire Hebrew number system. Before you move, if you can count to 10, you can count to 100. Remember that? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay? If you can do that, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in the Hebrew, you do the same thing. Akach and Yah, Shalash. What did I say? 4. You got Arabah, Kamash, Shashah, Shabbat, Shamawana. What was that? 8. The 9 for Shah and Asherah, 10. Okay. If you can count to 10, because a lot of things are built off of those first numbers there. And that's what we get into in the numbers. That's why it's important to know those first 10. And I'll prove it to you when we get to 11 and 12 here. Asherah. And I'm taking the time to write them down here so you can understand how to spell also. with the I, like this. I. Let's see if we can identify something here. Shah, I, Shah. You see the full Shah there. There it is. And Ra, okay. Ah, Shah, Ra. So I, Shah, Ra. So, in the chat, since I broke it down like this, tell me, is this connecting system? Is this connecting that I'm doing okay? I, Shah, Ra. Is that correct? Independence. I, Shah, Ra. Or is it I, Shah, Ah? What's the dead giveaway? What do you see? And the one dead giveaway that you can tell there, I, Shah, Ra. Because they have a whole lot of sounds going on there. But there's no H on the end there. That's okay. That's a giveaway. Kind of helped you out a little bit. It's independence. Sharabana said, Dina McCall said, Khan. Sharabana said, it's independent. Okay, keep going. Come on, brothers and sisters. Ox and Akwath. Khan, I got it's independent. I got Baral Abba. She said Khan. Shara. And I'll tell you, I'll give you 10 more seconds here. See if that's right or wrong. You're going to be surprised. Okay. There we go. Okay. Adrian said Khan. Okay, good. And I know I got enough people. Tahama, Adrian, independent. Okay, all independents. Okay. Everybody in class? That's good. And you're right. Give you a check mark for that. Why? Because all these sounds just happen to be I, Shah, Ra. All these sounds just happen to be one of the characters. One of the characters. You got one character, two characters, and another character. So all these characters have their own sound. That's why they're independent. They have no dependency on each other. Why? Because you see the full, that is one of the giveaways. I see I by itself. It's not Aish Ara. I see Shah. You have to pronounce that Shah. Ra, Ra. I. So it's I, Shah, Ra. So you're exactly 100% right. Or everybody in the chat right there. Okay? I, Shah, Ra. Very good. You know, is it too late to give yourself a hand clap? Nah. Everybody give a hand clap right there. Very good. Okay? And that's how it's done. I, Shah, Ra. Okay? Now let's say 11. How do we say 11? Let's see. How do you do 11? If you want to do 11 in the number system in the English, how would you do it? You say, well, I got 10 over here. I got 10 plus 1. How do you do that? That's the key. Adrian gives me a hand clap. That's right, Adrian. And all the other sisters, brothers. Okay? 10 plus 1 is equal to 11. So how do I add that in Hebrew? That's all you're really doing. That's the key. So anybody remember the first? That's why I erased them from the board so you can't see it. Do you remember the first number that I gave you? What is that called? Anybody? See if you can spell it out for me. We'll give you guys a second. We'll give you guys about 15 seconds. What two numbers do I put together? I'll give you that big hint. What two numbers do we put together? Excuse me, Slocky, for a second. We'll give you guys a few seconds to do that. even if you spell it wrong, I do it sometime myself. At least tell me, what do I put together? Okay, Shara, Bana, she has Asherah, Wa, that means and, Akkad. We give everybody a chance to say, is that yes or no, or right, to do the same thing she did, or whatever. She said, Adrian said, Asherah, not quite, Adrian, if you close. But you actually had it for this one. Ralaba, Asherah, Akkad. Okay, good. Very good. And that's exactly right. You want to say Asherah, Akkad. And really, got me spelling it wrong. I said 10 plus 1, but really, it's not Asherah Akkad. It's Akkad Asherah. Akkad, you put the number first. That's small, right there. Akkad. Spelled that wrong, didn't it? Akkad Asherah. Just like that. Okay? 1 plus 10. I put 10 plus 1, I didn't mean that. And you just simply duplicated what I said and you would be correct anyway. Either way. Excuse me. It's not about being right or wrong, but let's just make sure we get it right or wrong. Akkad Asherah. That's 1 plus 10 is equal to 11. And that's how you said it in Hebrew. So everybody's got it right over there. Let's go over here to what Adrian has. She has something that she wrote down. Let's address what she had here. She had this right here. She remembered that from school. But, and I think she put Asherah, yeah, that's right. I think that's what she said, but she forgot one letter. What did you forget, Adrian? What letter did you forget out here? There's one letter that you forgot. Just one. Just one letter off. You got Asherah. That would be 20, and that's what you're getting ready to head to. That's a letter you missed right here, Adrian. Tell me what that is in the chat. There you go, Adrian. Give her a hand. All right. All right. That is 20. And why? Because yam, when you want to plural, and she's on to another lesson that we're going to go over next week. We're going to go over some plurals and connectors and adjectives next week. But she's exactly right. Asher yam. She remembered that yam is actually the plural for words. Okay? When you see that yam on the end, you can bet that it's trying to pluralize something. And that's what it is. Asherayam. What is it pluralizing? 10. So if that is the case, how would you write 21? Let's put Akkad Asharayam. Akkad Asharayam. That would be 21. Just put 1 and 20. And you keep going further, so how would you write 30? Well, what is 3? How do you write 3? Shalash. 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 Asharayam. Or you say, you can, Slakia, is Shalashim. If you put it together, make sure, get in my notes here. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay. Asherim, yeah, Shalashim. Okay. So you have to pluralize. If you say Shalash, you don't want to say Shalash Asherim. You want to say, once you get to Asherayam, that is 20. Do you leave that alone? If you want to go to 30, we'll go to 30. 3 is Shalash. Okay? So let's write that down. Let's write that one. We'll get rid of this right here. we're done with this. Let's go to 30. Let's investigate that. Let's find out why that's 30. Okay, so Adrian stumbled upon that 20 there. So let's go 30. Shah, Lash, Yum. Because you're pluralizing the 10. The Shalashim, yeah. You're pluralizing the 10 again. When you say Ashariyah, okay? When you put the Yam on the end, you're saying 20, go 10 more times. 30, well, you want to do it 3 times. 1, 2, why 3? Why is that? Because you're saying Shalash. Shalash is 1, 2, 3. Yum, that's 30, but because you're the Yum, that's telling you that you want to go for Ashariyah 10 times. 10, 10, 10. Because you're using the plural of 10. That's Shalashim. But by itself, Shalash is just 10. By itself, Shalash is just plain old 10. 3, I'm sorry. Ooh, man. Okay? By itself, Shalash just means 3. But when you put the Yam on it, it means 30 now. Why? Because you started off when you said, Ashar Reyam. Adrian, she started it. You started this, Adrian. Yam. Then anything after 20 that has a Yam, you pluralize it. Sure enough, there it is, right there, Yam. So let's say 40. How you do 40? Same way with 40. 40. Okay? Well, what is 40? Let's think about it for a second. Arabai. By. Yum. There's that yum. Why? Because the precedence has been set at 20. What you're doing now, all you're doing is pluralizing 10. And Aishara, you do it one time, and everything after that means plural. Okay? 40. Then 50. Kamashim. That's what this is all about. Yum. Okay? There it is again. Kamashim. Arabayim. Let's spell it right. Yeah, that's right. Arabayim. Shara Bana said Bayam. That's correct. That's correct, sis. You got it right. Exactly right. That's 40. Now how you say 50? Kamashim, and so on and so forth. And we can keep going all night. Shashashim. Shabai. What's 7? Shabai? Shabayim. Okay? Okay? And then you want to go to Shamawanayam. Then you want to go, what else? Thashayim for 9. Then when we get to, that's 9. Well, when you get to 100, 100 has something special. Let's see if you guys remember what 100 is. What is 100? How do I write 100 in Hebrew? See if you guys remember. See if you do it yourself, instead of me giving it to you, you'll remember it. How do you write 100? Like Spanish, they get there and they say 100. That's 100. Okay? Hebrew has this, since they get all these things from our language. So what's 100? Anybody online? I'll give you the first letter. That's the first letter to what 100 is, okay? And it's different. It doesn't involve a yum. You don't have to say 10 times. It's got its own nomenclature. See if you remember it. I'll give you another one. See if you guys still remember it. Here's another letter. About giving it away now. Ain't gonna be worth no claps after a while. 100. Adrian said Mayan. Okay. Now, Adrian, you stumbled upon something else. Let's put what you have down. It's ma. Got it, something like that. It's close enough. Ma'ayan. Make sure I got it right. Yeah, that's right. Ma'ayan. Okay. First of all, 100. That's not 100. It's actually this. 200. So what's 100? 100 wouldn't be that much of it. Remember, you got a plural. Ma'a. Just like that. Okay? Yeah, ma'a. Ma'a is 100. That's how you say 100. Ma'a. Spell it right here. But you got it. There you go, Adrian. Ma'a. But ma'ayam, and of course you have to change the Y there, would be 200. Then after that, it starts over the same way. Now you start off with your 3, with your 300. Then you want to put shalash, and then you want to put shalash ma'ayam. Then you want to go, then you want to start to put your other, since ma'ayam is 200, then you want to put the letter in front of it. The 3 would be shalash ma'ayam. Okay? Then so on and so forth. Then you want to put arabai. Okay? Ma'ayam. It's 300. Ma'ayam, because you're pluralizing it with the yam. You're pluralizing the 100 right here. Ma'a is 100. So when you put a yam, you said, okay, 200. You just jumped 100. Not 10. You jump whatever you pluralizing. This 100 right here. You want to pluralize it, put a yam, that's 200. That's double. That's how you do that. Okay? Now, let's find out, since we got that, let's find out, we got shalashim, 30, arabayam, kamashyam is 50, so on and so forth with 60, 70, 80, shamonayam. Okay, let's go to 1,000. How do we say 1,000? In Hebrew. It has its own nomenclature too. Yes, I mean, it's nothing. See if you guys remember that. Let's see what time we got. 48, we're almost there. This will be the last one. Let's go to that. I'll give you an understanding of, starts with that. Okay? 1,000. Remember? Before we go. 1,000 is something. See if you remember it, even in your notes. So I know I write fast on the board, just trying to take my time. We got ma'a is 100. Then you want to pluralize, remember, yam. We'll go over that next week. You're pluralizing the last thing that it came from. Well, that'll be 100 more. Not 10, but last, so that's why you put ma'ayam. That means 200. Okay? Then you put the 3, you put the number for 3 in front of that one. Okay? The number for 3 is shalash. Shalash ma'ayam. Okay? For 300. But 1,000, I'll say this, is a lot. That's 1,000, and so on and so forth. Okay? And you can count all up probably to, if I got to figure out what that is, I can count to 999, 999. And I got to go figure out what a million is. I ain't got that kind of money, so we're going to stop at 1,000 tonight. We had a Tawab class, everybody. Clap it up. Clap it up for your class. A great class. We learned the number system. We're going to go on further. It's going to be a little bit more technical next week. Even more, it's going to get A little harder and harder, but not really hard and hard, just more information. You guys did an absolute wonderful job, and I say come with your notes. It's obvious that the officers, the troopers, and all of the sisters knew your answers, because you got, if I had to grade your paper, to be a 90, because everybody knew everything. You knew all of it. And it's a little bit, some of the things you miss. Sometimes I miss some things, but that's the part of growing. You have to participate in class, and that way you'll get understanding of how to enunciate, pronounce, pluralize, connect, ending characters, how many characters there are, how many vowels there are. That's what Hebrew is all about, is participation. But, security announcements. We are the Isupk, starting out 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. The rule for the new brothers and sisters: when a new brother or sister comes to school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves in the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8 through 10, means tenth in Hebrew, ma'ashara. Remember one of Asherah? That means the 10, or of the 10. Ma'ashara, the 10th. 10% of every penny of increase the Lord gives you, the Most High gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, but whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Let's see, what are they, sir? Okay. Water. We have, let's see, sir. What is it, Hakanaka? No.
We got the closing Feast of Tabernacles that's coming
The
up.
closing Feast of Tabernacles is coming up on Sloppy.
All right, then after that should be the Feast of Dedication.
Feast of Dedication, Hakanaka, yes, sir. The Feast of Dedication, the 5th day, the 7th month, 8 days, Thursday, October 1st, Friday, October 9th, 2020, start with sundown. Of course, we were there October 1st at the end, Friday, October 9th. 23 to 25, Leviticus 23, 34, and 44, we had a glorious day of the night there, of the feast, the Feast of Dedication, Hakanaka, will be your next, will be 25th day of the 9th month of the space of 8 days, Wednesday, December 9th, 2020, 8 days. First Maccabees, you'd find this, 4, 52, and 61. Then across the following year there, February the 26th, you have the 14th day, the 15th day of the 12th month. Thursday, February 25th, and Friday, February 26th, you have, of course, Esther 9 through the 21, that's called Purim. But more recently here, we got the close of the Feast of the Tabernacles, Friday, October 9th. That's where it starts all out again, and that's what we've done. And we had a glorious class tonight, and for that, I say, see you next week. Shalom.